the number of ways that the Republican Party differs from the Democratic Party, numerous, myriad ways. And I'm not just talking about policy. I'm not talking about economic policies that are vastly different relative to taxation or just monetary policy in general. I'm not talking about social issues and the respect and regard we have for our fellow human beings, the more humanist outlook. I'm not talking about that. Right now, I'm talking specifically about the manner with which we hold our leaders accountable, or in the way of the Republicans, the manner in which they do not. Enter Andrew Cuomo. Last week, Letitia James, the New York State Attorney General, concluded a lengthy investigation into the behavior, the conduct of Governor Andrew Cuomo. And they found that he has acted inappropriately, possibly criminally, related to female staffers. That went beyond locker room talk, like Republicans like to call it. He actually reached under women's blouses and assaulted them. Now, aides are running for the hills. They are quitting en masse. He is a man unto himself. He is an island unto himself. He's losing support of longtime union leaders. Black political leaders in New York are abandoning him. He is toxic. Even his brother is under fire. Melissa DeRosa, this is from CNN, Cuomo top aide Melissa DeRosa resigns as governor faces potential impeachment. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's top aide, Melissa DeRosa, resigned late Sunday, less than a week after the release of a report from the state attorney general that found Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women. Quote, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve the people of New York for the past 10 years. New Yorkers' resilience, strength, and optimism through the most difficult times has inspired me every day." DeRosa, secretary to the governor, said in a statement obtained by CNN. Nancy Pelosi has called for his resignation. Chuck Schumer, fellow New Yorker, has also called. Not just them, though. Here's Joe Biden, when asked about it, also saying he should resign.
Given back in March, you said that if the investigation confirmed the allegations against Governor Cuomo, then he should resign. So will you now call on him to resign, given the investigator said the 11 women were credible?
I stand by that statement.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes.
And if he doesn't resign, do you believe he should be impeached and removed from office?
Let's take one thing at a time here. I think he should resign. I understand that the state legislature may decide to impeach. I don't know that for a fact. I've not read all that data.
And he's using a photo of you embracing him in his self-defense to say that these are commonplace kind of embraces that he made and the allegations against him. Do you condone that?
Look, I'm not going to fly-spec this. I'm sure there are some embraces that were totally innocent. But apparently the Attorney General decided there were things that weren't.
So at this point, impeachment proceedings seem unavoidable. Carl Heastie is the Speaker of the New York State Assembly. And they have initiated an investigation, impeachment inquiry. If I'm a betting man, sometimes I am, I would say that it is, as I just mentioned, it's unavoidable. It's going to happen, and he will be removed. There's actually been sheriff's offices contacted, or at least one, where there very well could be criminal charges brought against current, still, Governor Andrew Cuomo. Here's Carl Heastie discussing the matter at a press conference.
Attorney General's task completed. The Assembly is working to expeditiously conclude our investigation, which covers a broad range of issues, so that we can bring this sad chapter of our state's history to a conclusion. As I stated last week, the governor has clearly lost the confidence of the majority members of the New York State Assembly. The Attorney General's report lays out in painful detail the many instances and ways in which he reportedly harassed and created a hostile work environment for the employees of the executive chamber, and others he came in contact with. I'm heartbroken. Let me be clear, no one should have to endure the type of behavior detailed in the Attorney General's report. We are at a historic moment in our state's modern history. For the first time in more than 100 years, the Assembly is undertaking an impeachment investigation of a sitting governor. Chairman Levine, the members of the Judiciary Committee, and my majority colleagues understand the gravity of the situation that we find ourselves in today. Future generations will look to us and how we conducted ourselves in this moment. In order to ensure due process, which is embedded in our system, we've asked for all evidence, unredacted and unfiltered, used by the Attorney General's investigators to reach their conclusions. The process to begin receiving that information did not begin until Saturday evening. We have not yet received all of it. We've received a lot, but not all of it. We've also asked the governor to submit any relevant evidence he may have by Friday, August 13th. Our goal is now to bring this matter to a conclusion with all due haste, no pun intended. The Judiciary Committee has made progress on the issues they have been investigating, and to provide an update on those issues, our schedule, and the progress of the overall investigation, I will now turn to the chair of our Judiciary Committee, Charles Levine.
Now, this is in stark contrast to how Republicans fail to hold their own accountable. We witnessed Marjorie Taylor Greene saying abhorrent, racist, xenophobic things and being able to keep her committees if it were up to Republicans. It was Democrats who had to take it upon themselves to vote her off of her committees. She went on to say nonsense and then apologize about comparing the masks to the Holocaust, you may remember, and then gave a little press conference. I just learned about the Holocaust. Nonsense. Matt Gaetz, he's in hot water for unspeakable crimes, and still nothing. He still sits on the Judiciary Committee. Donald Trump, the twice impeached president, twice acquitted by Republicans, clear crimes, clear outlining of obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. Nothing. Incited an attempted overthrow of the United States government and an attempted overturning of a free and fair election through means not just violent insurrection, but also using the mechanism, the wheels and gears of government that were at his disposal by using the DOJ as a cudgel to attempt his insurrection. The just say it was fraudulent and I'll take care of the rest. And how do Republicans hold themselves accountable? They don't. Here's Chuck Grassley, the venerable octogenarian who worked, he was the senator when I worked for the Senate many years ago. He's been there forever. This is him waxing excuse-making about why Donald Trump had every right to try to subvert the Constitution and attempt to overthrow the government. Watch this, as he would call it, cockamamie reasoning.
The president has every right to discuss ideas and strategies with his closest advisors. The president, whether that president is Democrat or Republican, should feel unrestrained to bring ideas to his closest staff for robust discussion. Eventually, the facts will come out, and Trump will have to address them, good or bad, depending on the facts at hand. However, the essential question that should be asked, what was the final decision? And that is my major concern about the recent public comments coming out of these interviews I've discussed relating to this new Trump investigation. Unlike my Democratic colleagues, I won't discuss the evidence publicly at this point in time. but let me remind the American public with a couple already public points. Did Trump fire Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen? No, he did not fire him.
So Donald Trump, according to Chuck Grassley, has every right to counsel, to gather his sage advisors. Chuck Grassley is acting as though Donald Trump, making excuses, acting as though Donald Trump he's just floating ideas, as though he's talking about welfare reform or tax reform or the never-ending infrastructure week. A president of the United States who has raised his right hand and swore to uphold the Constitution, to faithfully execute his duties and support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, does not get to foment revolution, does not get to encourage and incite a frothing, violent mob to insurrection, to construct a gallows, a hangman's gallows on the lawn of the Capitol while chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." No, Senator Grassley, that is not how this works. To coin a commercial, that's not how any of this works.